Tonight, bridge update. A look at what's being done to replace the Taylor Bridge. Non-binding mediation. The BCGEU and the province back at the bargaining table, and 2 wins away. The Blue Jays move closer to the World Series. Good evening and thank you for joining us. We begin with the Taylor Bridge closed for a couple of hours this morning due to an accident. A driver taken to hospital in serious but stable condition. The bridge is a hot topic of conversation for many motorists across the Peace region. When it's not closed for maintenance, it's very often shut down for accidents like the one today. Noah Abel has our top story.
We need something that's more sustainable and safer.
It's a span that connects the North and South Peace regions to the rest of BC. The Taylor Bridge was built in 1960 after the Peace River Bridge collapsed 3 years earlier. According to the MLA for the South Peace, replacing the 2-lane bridge should be a priority for the province.
With an original lifespan design of 30 years, it's now 64 years old, and it's not on the 10-year infrastructure plan for replacement.
The province began gathering feedback to plan the future of the Taylor Bridge in October 2021. They engaged with Treaty 8 First Nations, key stakeholders, and the public. Concerns were raised about the size of the current bridge and its inability to support a growing local economy.
This is the economic lifeline of the area, of both the South Peace and the North Peace. In the few moments we've been standing here, how many hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars worth of economic activity have crossed over this bridge?
About 7,500 vehicles cross the bridge every day. 30% are commercial traffic. Frequent bridge closures for maintenance can also be a safety concern and has become costly.
The question begs itself, at what point are we spending enough on maintenance where we should be spending money on replacement?
The mayor of Fort St. John says the outdated metal structure consistently needs welding work. It has been 4 years since the province asked for public engagement on replacing the span, and although the Ministry of Transportation has conducted geotechnical investigations around the bridge this summer, Mayor Henson wants the process to speed up.
They've already invested $30 million plus into infrastructure and planning, and now we need to go the rest of the way.
The mayor says Premier David Eby is coming to the Peace region next year and says replacing the bridge will be a key point of discussion. She says with the economic impact the Peace region provides to the rest of BC, the province needs to start giving back.
When you look at, what is our impact economically on the province, we definitely punch above our weight.
Despite the need for a new bridge, Neufeld says it's completely safe to use for now.
My understanding is that this is the most inspected bridge in northern BC from a safety perspective.
The Ministry of Transportation says Highway 97 and the Taylor Bridge are key links connecting the Peace region's economy to the rest of the province, but also Canada. It says they are currently looking at different options for the long-term future of the Taylor Bridge, but there is no timeline yet for a decision to be made. Noah Abel, CJDC-TV News, Taylor.
The union representing striking public sector workers across British Columbia has agreed to enter non-binding mediation with the province in their labor dispute. The president of the BC General Employees Union says the province reached out to the union yesterday asking if it would consider going to mediation with mediators Vince Reddy and Amanda Rogers. The union has agreed in an attempt to resolve the strike that is now stretched into its 7th week and involves about 25,000 provincial workers. Paul Finch says he is optimistic that a deal can be made, but he stresses this is non-binding mediation, meaning his union is not required to adopt any recommendations.
If this is an avenue to get a deal, we need to know quickly. We don't want to go down a path too long and then find out that there's no deal at the end of it. So, our members obviously, been on picket lines for 7 weeks now. British Columbians have been without a lot of critical services for 7 weeks. And so, of course, I think it's in everyone's interest to get a deal here, but it has to be a deal, and I'll just say it has to be a deal that our members will vote for.
The union is asking for 8% over the next 2 years, while the province is offering 4% over the same time frame. And the strike has taken a particularly tough toll on BC's hospitality industry. Representatives from the wine, beer, liquor, and hospitality sectors meeting today outlining the devastating impacts of the strike. An industry-wide survey says that up to 78% of small businesses across British Columbia are concerned about layoffs if the strike continues to strain their already razor-thin margins. Well, in response, 6 separate industry associations are calling on the BCGEU and the province to enact immediate emergency measures as BC's hospitality industry struggles with a lack of supply.
We are asking for the BCGEU to show good faith and go back to work. We understand they're in mediation, but what's at stake here is jobs, small businesses, importers. It's a mess. If we don't do something extraordinary in British Columbia to deal with this, we're not going to see these shelves stocked probably until Valentine's Day, if not longer.
Industry leaders have requested a deadline of 3 weeks for a deal to be reached between the BCGEU and the province, a target they say is essential to avoid permanent and devastating consequences to BC's beer, wine, and liquor supply. A warning now about dog food. Health officials say an outbreak of Salmonella has been traced to a certain brand of dog food and treats. 14 cases have already been reported in BC. Health Canada says the outbreak includes certain Puppy Love and Puppy World treats and food. Besides BC, there have been 14 Salmonella cases reported in Alberta, 2 in Ontario, and 1 in the Northwest Territories. Symptoms include chills, nausea, and vomiting. The health agency says people could have caught the virus through contact with the dog, their food and treats, or their waste. Edmonton police have charged a man with second-degree murder in the death of an Indigenous teenager, Samuel Bird, who disappeared back in June. The 14-year-old boy's remains were found Thursday in a rural area near Edmonton. Samuel was last seen leaving his mother's home to visit a friend. 38-year-old Brian Farrell has been charged in the boy's death. He faces several other charges, including interfering with a body, aggravated assault, and arson. A final report into the allegations of corruption involving Alberta government health contracts says it was widely known that 2 staffers were in conflict of interest, but nothing was done by senior officials about it. The investigation stemmed from allegations in a wrongful dismissal lawsuit filed by the former CEO of the province's health authority. The report by former Manitoba Judge Raymond Waunt found no evidence of wrongdoing by Premier Danielle Smith, her ministers, or other political staff. Now, it did make 18 recommendations for the Alberta government that are aimed at improving the procurement policies. And provincial health ministers from across the country meeting for the second day in Calgary. The ministers discussing doctor shortages, improved training for healthcare workers, and sharing resources across provincial boundaries. The group says it's committed to working together to strengthen Canada's healthcare system. As for the next meeting, that's planned for December the 31st. Well, the RCMP is forcibly denying allegations of political interference by Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre. Poilievre has accused the Mounties of shielding former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau from criminal charges. CTV's Abigail Beeman reports.
Many of the scandals of the Trudeau era should have been involved jail time.
In an interview posted to YouTube, the Conservative leader ripped into his former House of Commons opponent for the 2019 SNC-Lavalin affair and Justin Trudeau's 2016 family vacation on the Aga Khan's private island, as well as how the RCMP handled the cases.
The RCMP covered it all up, and the leadership of the RCMP is frankly just despicable when it comes to enforcing laws against the Liberal government.
There's no interference. I don't take any orders from any political individual.
When the RCMP's top cop rejected cover-up claims,
I would invite Mr. Poilievre to meet with us and to meet with the people who run this great organization.
Pierre Poilievre said he would accept the invitation and double down.
If the RCMP commissioner is now saying that he wants to open that investigation, we're prepared to hand over all the evidence of Mr. Trudeau's criminal code violations.
In this case, the opposition leader is going a bit too far.
This political strategist says there is room to challenge and critique, but to win new voters, Poilievre may want to adopt a more moderate approach to complex issues like the state of the RCMP.
Pierre Poilievre thinks people are fired up about Justin Trudeau. He and his caucus are fired up about Justin Trudeau, but I think the public has moved on.
And to recap from the prior government, the ethics commissioner did find Prime Minister Trudeau broke the rules in both cases, but the RCMP said there wasn't enough evidence for a criminal offense in the SNC case. And in the case of the near decade-old vacation, even though long pressed by the Conservatives, the RCMP said it couldn't productively pursue a criminal investigation. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Delays at Canada Revenue Agency call centres appear to be improving. Senior officials from the CRA say they've surpassed the target for answering more calls from Canadians. This comes after the federal finance minister gave them a 100-day deadline last month to fix the delays. The CRA was hoping to answer at least 70% of their calls by mid-October, but surpassed the mark by the start of this month. The agency said 77% of incoming calls were in fact answered between September the 29th and October 3rd. Now, believe it or not, the CRA reported only answering 35% of its calls between June the 30th and July the 4th. The federal government announcing plans to beef up the border today. Ottawa saying Canadians must look out for ourselves in a dangerous and divided world. Among other things, the Prime Minister is pledging to hire 1,000 new border officers. And Judy Trin has more on the border plan and the pre-budget spending promise.
But we also have a slew of other prohibited devices.
Examples of illegal weapons seized at the Niagara Falls border crossing. To thwart growing threats, the Liberal government is funding more border security agents.
During the election campaign, we were clear that our borders had to be secure so everyone in Canada can feel safe. And we promised to hire 1,000 new CBSA officers to bolster our border protection efforts.
The upcoming budget will allocate $617 million to recruit 1,000 CBSA officers over the next 5 years, a pledge made by Mark Carney while campaigning to be Prime Minister.
So how many of those boots are going to be on the ground? Are we actually waiting for the budget for this funding to come through? Because we haven't had a budget. It comes in November. So there are actually more questions than answers that we got from the minister's announcement today.
A focus will be on hiring special analysts who can identify suspects connected to organized crime, human smuggling, immigration fraud, and terrorism.
It is very promising. We have to start somewhere. It's something we've been asking for a long time. Our members will be really happy to hear that this is going to come about.
The union representing border guards says the challenges include a need to expand training facilities and provide more equipment like these X-ray machines to agents so they can do more searches.
We don't really examine rail, we examine less than 1%. We have land borders, airports, which really overuse students, where we need to get officers in those positions. It's really across the board.
Hiring these new CBSA officers are measures on top of the $1.3 billion border security plan announced last year by the Liberals under Justin Trudeau. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Well, Canada's passport has moved ahead of the United States in the list of most powerful passports in the world. Now, powerful is being defined in terms of visa-free access to countries. Canada now ranks number 9 in the Henley Passport Index out of 183 countries. The United States has fell out of the top 10 for the first time. It's now sitting at number 12. As far as the top 3, Singapore, South Korea, and Japan. Meantime, a former close ally of Donald Trump has been formally indicted. The FBI raided John Bolton's home in August. It was part of an investigation looking into the handling of classified documents. Bolton is now facing 18 charges. If found guilty, he could face up to 10 years in prison for each charge. Bolton was Trump's national security advisor, but he turned into a Trump critic after he was fired from the White House back in 2019. And Donald Trump hosted the president of Ukraine today at the White House. The focus, a request for U.S. Tomahawk missiles that Kyiv says are desperately needed.
You're talking about massive numbers of very powerful weapons. So that's one of the things we'll be talking about. Hopefully they won't need it. Hopefully we'll be able to get the war over with without thinking about Tomahawks.
After the meeting, Volodymyr Zelenskyy said Ukrainian and American teams are working on drones. The U.S. president had signaled he is not ready to sell Ukraine the long-range missiles. Trump says his country also needs them and does not want to deplete its stock. Today, Trump said he believes the war can be ended soon and a decision on the missiles would not be necessary. Trump spoke by phone yesterday with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Those two leaders have agreed to meet in Budapest in a few weeks' time. Well, to the United Kingdom, where Prince Andrew announcing he is giving up the royal title, the Duke of York, along with other honors. Andrew says he and the royal family have decided that continued accusations against him distract from his duties. Excerpts have been published from an upcoming posthumous memoir from Virginia Roberts Gouffre. She said she was trafficked by the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and had sex with the prince when she was 17 years old. Andrew stepped away from public life back in 2019 and denied any wrongdoing. Today, he said he vigorously denies the accusations against him. Andrew will remain a prince, a title he has been entitled to since birth. All right, please do stay tuned. Noah will be right back after the break with a look at your weekend weather.